Alright, so this is going to be a lesson on partial chord shapes, and these aren't really an official system of chords or anything like that. But what they are is they're slightly smaller chord voicings than if you're playing like full bar chords or full open chords. A lot of times when you're playing like a funk, an R&B or reggae rhythm guitar part, you want a part that actually kind of cuts, right? And you're playing in the upper octave. All right. If I just went 1, 2, 3, right. What's going to happen with the band is that's going to be kind of dead sounding. It's not going to pop out. But if I'm thinking, I play a lot of kind of like spank here with the right hand. All right. That's actually going to pop out quite a bit. All right. Even if you have a guitar player. There's all kinds of uses for these chords. What we're just going to do in this first lesson here is talk about how to finger them. Which ones are the major ones, which ones are the minor ones. And then in upcoming lessons we're going to have some musical examples. We're going to learn how to play a backbeat part, a la like a Motown kind of deal. We'll learn some reggae skanks. We're going to learn some kind of like Motown Steve Cropper, that kind of deal. There'll be quite a bit of different stuff that we can do with these chord voicings, but for right now we're just going to learn the major and minor shapes in 2 or 3 different positions. We're going to start off just doing this in C. If you guys are familiar with your C major bar chord here, I'm barring the first finger at the 8th fret, and then I've got my 3rd finger on the 10th fret 5th string. Your pinky is on the 10th fret 4th string, the middle finger is on the 9th fret 3rd string. That altogether makes a big C major chord, just like your open chord down here. What we're going to take out of this are the first 4 strings. A lot of times it's just the first 3 strings. Now notice that I'm playing with a pretty full stroke through everything, but I'm not hitting everything like that. What's happening, let's see if I can kind of give you a little bit of a, you can kind of see here I'm not hitting through all the strings. I'm kind of aiming at the strings that I want to hear. Like that. And what that does, it gives me a real percussive sound that kind of pops off the guitar. And everybody hears it pretty good. It's not like I'm just like pulling it and dragging it. But I'm not hitting the strings we don't want to hear. Typically in something like this, you just want to make sure that you're hitting the strings that we should be hearing. It sounds funny to say it that way, but a lot of times people just tend to use their right hand as a blunt instrument, and they hit all 6 strings all the time, and then you end up getting all of this extra stuff going on in the chord voicing that we don't want, especially for something that's as specific as this. So here's our major chord shape. Now here's the deal. I have a lesson on major chord construction. We talk about what makes up a major chord. I'm not going to get too into it in this lesson, but I will identify the notes here in the chord. My 3rd finger on the 10th fret 4th string, that's the root, that's the name of the chord, that's a C. Your 2nd finger on the 9th fret 3rd string, that's an E, that's the 3rd of the chord. And that 3rd is the note that makes it major or minor. Alright, so we'll talk about that in just a second. Your 1st finger is barring on the 2nd and 1st strings of the 8th fret. This is the 5th note of the chord, and that's the octave, or the root again. That's the same as the note up here. Alright, so that's just a major C major chord. Now if we want to make it minor, this 3rd note, we just drop it down 1 fret, and we get that kind of darker sound. So major with the middle finger on the 9th fret 3rd string, right, and then minor with the finger off, and you're barring the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings at that point for the minor shape. Major, minor. All right, so that's C major right there. Now, if we come back here, we've got our C major as a 5th string root bar chord, like based off of the open A shape. Typically when I play this, the 1st finger is on the C on the 5th string, 3rd fret, and then I'm barring my 3rd finger, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings, and I'm just muting the 1st and 6th strings. There is a note on the 1st string if you wanted to hit that with the barring finger, but it's kind of a pain, and it's a little redundant because we have that note, which is the 5th, here already. So you can play it or not. It's not super important right now for what we're doing on this chord. Now, if I play this chord in a song, I'm typically just playing those 3 notes. All right, and once again, I'm playing through the guitar in order to get the sound. But the notes, we just want to make sure we're muting the 1st string. You don't want to bar it, because then that turns into either an A minor 7 chord or a C6 chord, depending on what the root is. It's a mess. So once again, just play the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. Now, here's the deal with this. We've got the 5th of the chord here. Remember, we're talking about chord tones, because in order to manipulate these chords, or to make them other chords, major, minor, augmented, diminished, for your needs, we want to know what each of the notes' functions are. In this particular chord voicing with these 3 notes, the note on the 4th string happens to be the 5th. The note on the 3rd string is C, that's the root. Note on the 2nd string is the 3rd. So if we want to make this minor, we just take that 3rd and we drop it down 1 fret. Even though we don't play this note on the major version most of the time, I mean, you can if you refinger it like that. For the minor version, I usually do. It gives us a nice bright, not as bright as the minor chord's going to get. So you got C major, C minor. All right, so up here, remember we got C major, C minor there. Here we have C major or C major, and then C minor right there. The other chord voicing that we're going to use is going to be kind of based off of your open C chord, because we're going to need notes that are below the nut here. We're going to move all the way up to the 12th fret to do this, though. If we're playing this chord shape as a kind of like a barred chord, like you take your C, if you move everything up a fret and you bar with your 1st finger, you're going to get this. Basically, it's like a bar chord, but it's, so you've got your pinky on the 5th fret, 4th fret, 5th string, your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, 4th string. Your barring finger is going to get the 1st and 3rd strings, and then your 2nd finger is going to get the 2nd fret on the 2nd string. That's a C sharp major, and if you move it up a fret, it's a D. This is your root here. That's a D. Also, your note right here. Well, we bring up here to the C in order to make it kind of work with our little system of chords. We're only playing the top 4 strings, and we're going to have just get rid of the pinky. So you've got your 3rd fret, your 3rd finger on the 14th fret, 4th string. Your 1st finger is barring the first 3 strings, and then your middle finger is getting the 2nd string on the 13th fret. So you're getting that sound. So that's a C major right there. And then to make it minor, we have basically this note here is the 3rd, that's the 5th, that's the root, and that's the 3rd again. So if you want to make this minor, you either play just these 3 notes, or you could do this with it. Now, what I did here is I just took the 3rd and moved it down a fret. So I've got the 13th fret on the 4th string, the 12th fret on the 3rd string, and then the 13th fret on the 2nd string. That was a pretty good minor chord. And like I said, if you want, you can also drop this down here to the 11th fret on the 1st string. But the thing is, when you have 2/3 in a chord, it tends to sound a little bit obnoxious. But that's that. So in the next lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to take these 6 chord voicings, major and minor, major, all right, and minor, and then major and minor. I'm going to have some song examples complete with backing tracks, and you'll be able to kind of work out a couple different rhythm guitar styles, and also have some different places on the fretboard to play the stuff besides just power chords, bar chords, or open chords.